Cameroon is a place where Africa shows off all its sides at once. A country nestled right in the continent's armpit where West Africa shakes hands with Central Africa. It's got a piece of everything. Imagine a land that touches the warm Atlantic Ocean. Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, Congo, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea. This unique position makes it a crossroads of cultures, languages, and histories. People often call it Africa in miniature. You can travel from sun-drenched beaches to dense, humid rainforests, climb rugged mountains, and then cross wide-open savannas, all without ever stamping your passport. The story behind the country's name is simpler than you might think. Back in the 15th century, Portuguese explorers sailed down the coast, probably looking for a route to India, when they entered a river now known as the Wouri. What they found there was an incredible abundance of ghost shrimp, or prawns. They named the river Rio dos Camarões. Over centuries, that name morphed into Cameroon. This land had a rich history long before European ships arrived. For thousands of years, it was home to many peoples, kingdoms, and societies. Archaeological evidence points to ancient settlements and sophisticated cultures. Hunter-gatherer groups like the Baka roamed the southern forests. In the grasslands of the west, powerful kingdoms rose and fell. In the plains of the north, chiefdoms developed trade networks linking distant lands. Today, Cameroon stands as a testament to this diversity. Its identity is a tapestry. Indigenous traditions, colonial legacies, modern aspirations. Driving from the Anglophone southwest to the Francophone east feels like crossing a cultural border with different languages, architectures, and legal systems. Yet there is a shared sense of being Cameroonian, a resilience forged through shared history and hope for the future. The country is a living, breathing example of many worlds within one border, creating a nation that is as complex and fascinating as the continent itself. Long before the name Cameroon ever appeared on a map, the land was a cradle of human history, a place where diverse groups settled, built communities, and adapted to varied landscapes. The earliest inhabitants included groups like the Baka. The Baka are among the oldest continuous residents of the equatorial rainforests. For millennia, these forest peoples developed a deep, almost spiritual connection to their environment, mastering the arts of hunting and gathering in a world of towering trees and hidden rivers. Their knowledge of medicinal plants, animal behaviors, forest ecology represents a library of ancient wisdom passed down through generations. In other regions, more settled agricultural societies began to take root. The fertile volcanic soils of the Western Highlands became a heartland for powerful kingdoms like the Bamileke and the Bamoun. These groups were master farmers cultivating yams, cocoyams, maize. They developed sophisticated political structures centered around a powerful king or fon. Their societies were known for brilliant artistry, particularly in wood carving, beadwork, bronze casting. The Bamoun kingdom developed its own unique writing system in the early 20th century, a remarkable achievement that showcases cultural dynamism. Meanwhile, the northern parts, with arid plains and savanna grasslands, were shaped by different forces. This region was part of the Great Sahelian Corridor, a highway for trade, migration, and the spread of ideas for over 1,000 years. The Kanem-Bornu Empire extended its influence into this area, bringing the religion of Islam and connecting locals to trans-Saharan trade routes. Later, the Fulani, traditionally nomadic pastoralists, migrated into the region, established powerful Lamidates chiefdoms, and became the dominant political and cultural force in the north. These early histories are not dusty relics. They are the foundational layers of modern Cameroonian identity. The traditions, social structures, and even the conflicts of these ancient kingdoms continue to shape life today. Family and clan loyalties remain incredibly strong, often influencing social and political affiliations more than national identity. The artistic traditions of the grassfields are celebrated worldwide. The deep cultural knowledge of groups like the Baka is now recognized as a vital resource for understanding and protecting the world's rainforests. The story of Cameroon is a story of deep roots, a nation built on the legacies of countless ancestors. Daily life in Cameroon pulses with a vibrant energy deeply rooted in community, music, food. Culture is not something you go to a museum to see, it is lived out loud. Streets, markets, homes. Music is the nation's heartbeat. Makossa from the coast, Bikutsi from the central regions, Afrobeats, hip-hop. You can hear music everywhere. Instruments like the balafon, a wooden xylophone, tam-tam drums, flutes, providing the soundtrack for village ceremonies and for nightclub dance floors. When the national team, the Indomitable Lions, plays a match, the entire country unites in song, dance, and passionate support. Food is the centerpiece of social life, a way to show hospitality, celebrate milestones, and bring families together. Cameroonian cuisine is rich, flavorful, and incredibly diverse. A staple found across the country is fufu, cassava, corn, plantains, typically served with a savory soup or stew. One of the most famous national dishes is ndole. Bitter leaves, ground nuts, often with shrimp or beef. Along the coast, freshly grilled fish, poisson braisé, served with fried plantains, aloko, and a spicy pepper sauce that will wake up your taste buds. How people dress is also a vibrant expression of identity and occasion. For everyday wear, many Cameroonians have adopted Western-style clothing, but for special events, celebrations, and Fridays, traditional attire takes center stage. These often involve brightly colored African wax prints known as pagne. The patterns and colors can signify social status or a particular ethnic group or family. In the Western Highlands, the Bamileke are famous for elaborately embroidered gowns and striking feathered headdresses worn during festivals. In the north, the Fulani are known for elegant flowing robes and intricate jewelry. These garments are more than clothes. They are works of art that tell a story. Art and craftsmanship are woven into society. Wood, bronze, clay, the masks of the western grass fields, with expressive features and symbolic power, are sought after by collectors around the world, used in traditional ceremonies and dances to connect the living with the world of the ancestors. From the decorated pottery of the north to the intricate beadwork of the Bamoun, Cameroonian art is a living tradition that carries history, beliefs, and the soul of its people forward into the modern world. Cameroon is a true Tower of Babel, a nation where hundreds of distinct voices come together to create a complex and fascinating linguistic symphony. Officially, the country has two languages inherited from its colonial past: French, English. This bilingualism is a defining feature and also a source of major political challenges. About 8 of its 10 regions are predominantly francophone. 2 regions in the southwest and northwest are anglophone. That linguistic divide has shaped education, the legal system, and national identity. But those 2 languages are just the tip of the iceberg. Over 250 local languages and dialects lie beneath. Cameroon is one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. These languages belong to several major African families, including the Bantu family, Afro-Asiatic, and Nilo-Saharan. Languages like Douala, Ewondo, Fulfulde, and Bassa are spoken by hundreds of thousands, forming the primary language of daily life and culture. Many smaller languages are at risk of disappearing. To navigate this landscape, many Cameroonians use Cameroonian Pidgin English. Pidgin is spoken by millions across the country, especially in Anglophone regions and major cities. It blends a simplified English vocabulary with grammatical structures and words from local languages, creating a unique, expressive way of communicating. Pidgin is the language of the markets, the taxi stands, and the streets. It breaks down barriers, letting a Bamileke trader from the west converse with a Fulani herder from the north. This linguistic diversity mirrors Cameroon's ethnic makeup. Bamileke and Bamoun in the Western Highlands, along the coast and south, the Douala and the Bassa. The southern rainforests are home to the Baka people. The northern savannas are dominated by the Fulani, Fulbe, and groups like the Kurdi. Each group has its own customs, traditions, social structures, and artistic expressions, making Cameroon a mosaic of many nations within one. To truly understand Cameroon, you have to look at its numbers and its place on the map. The country is home to a growing population, approximately 27 million people, a vibrant, youthful demographic, with many citizens under the age of 25. This youthful energy drives change and innovation, but it also creates big challenges. Challenge education, challenge healthcare, challenge employment. The population is spread across about 475,442 square kilometers, roughly the size of California and a bit larger than Sweden. This mid-sized African nation packs an astonishing amount of geographical variety, earning it the nickname Africa in miniature. The southern part of Cameroon is dominated by a coastal plain covered in dense equatorial rainforest, part of the Great Congo Basin ecosystem. This area is hot and humid year-round, receiving abundant rainfall that feeds its mighty rivers and sustains incredible biodiversity. Moving inland, the terrain rises to a central plateau before climbing into the rugged, volcanic mountains of the Western Highlands and the grass fields. Cooler climate, fertile soils, and dense agriculture. The northern part of the country offers a dramatic contrast, a vast savanna plain growing drier toward Lake Chad, the Sahel, with a long dry season and shorter rains, shaping seasonal searches for water and grazing. Towering over this diverse landscape is Mount Cameroon, an active volcano near the coast in the southwest and the highest peak in West Africa. It rises to about 4,095 meters, roughly 13,435 feet. Geography dictates where and how people live. Douala, the economic capital and largest city, a bustling Atlantic port, hot, humid, and constantly in motion. Yaoundé, the political capital, inland on the central plateau, a city of 7 hills, slightly cooler and more administrative. While these urban centers are growing rapidly, a significant portion of Cameroon's population still lives in rural areas, their lives deeply connected to the land, the seasons, and the local geography. Cameroon's modern political identity and many of its current struggles are deeply rooted in its complex colonial history. In the late 19th century, during the scramble for Africa, European powers carved up the continent. In 1884, Germany declared a protectorate, establishing Cameroon. The Germans were brutal colonizers, using forced labor to build railways, roads, and vast plantations for rubber, cocoa, palm oil. Their rule was short but left a significant mark, building infrastructure for resource extraction. Their reign ended with their defeat in World War I. After the war, the victorious Allied powers, Britain, France, divided the former German colony under a League of Nations mandate. France took about 4/5 of the territory, becoming French Cameroon. Britain received 2 smaller strips along the Nigerian border, Northern Cameroons, Southern Cameroons. This division had lasting consequences. The French pursued direct rule and assimilation, imposing their language, culture, and a centralized administrative system. The British practiced indirect rule, governing through local chiefs, introducing English common law and English language education, creating 2 very different colonial experiences. After World War II, independence movements gained momentum across Africa. In French Cameroon, the fight for freedom became particularly violent. The Union des Populations du Cameroun, the UPC, launched an armed struggle. It led to a bitter, bloody war that lasted for years. Despite suppressing the UPC, France granted independence on January 1, 1960, with Amadou Ahidjo as the first president. The new nation was the Republic of Cameroon. The fate of the British Cameroons was decided by a UN plebiscite in February 1961. The populations had a choice: join independent Nigeria or join the Republic of Cameroon. Northern Cameroons voted to join Nigeria. Southern Cameroons voted for reunification with Francophone Cameroon. On October 1, 1961, the 2 territories formed the Federal Republic of Cameroon. It was a state with two official languages and two distinct legal and educational systems. The federal structure was meant to protect the Anglophone minority, but it would not last, setting the stage for future conflicts. The decades following independence have been a complex journey for Cameroon, marked by periods of stability, but also by significant political and social challenges. The initial federal system was dismantled in 1972 in favor of a unitary state, a move that centralized power in the hands of the president and the Francophone-dominated government. For over 4 decades, the country was ruled by just 2 presidents, Amadou Ahidjo, followed by Paul Biya, who has been in power since 1982. This long-term rule provided a degree of predictability, but also led to widespread criticism regarding the lack of democratic space, corruption, and the marginalization of certain groups, particularly those in the Anglophone region. These long simmering grievances in the Anglophone regions eventually boiled over. What began as protests by lawyers and teachers in 2016 against the perceived erosion of their legal and educational systems quickly escalated into a full-blown political crisis. Demands for a return to federalism, or even outright secession, grew louder, leading to a harsh government crackdown and the emergence of armed separatist groups. The ensuing conflict has had a devastating impact, displacing hundreds of thousands of people, shutting down schools, and creating a deep humanitarian crisis. Finding a lasting and peaceful solution to this Anglophone crisis remains the most urgent challenge facing the nation today, a test of its ability to embrace its diversity. Yet, through all of these historical storms, the defining characteristic of the Cameroonian people has been their incredible resilience. They are survivors. In the face of economic hardship and political tension, ordinary people continue to build lives, raise families, and find joy. Farmers till the soil, entrepreneurs hustle in the bustling markets of Douala, and artists create music and films that tell the Cameroonian story to the world. Civil society organizations, religious leaders, and community elders work tirelessly at the grassroots level to mend divisions and advocate for peace, embodying the spirit of dialogue and mutual respect that is essential for the nation's healing. Looking forward, the future of Cameroon rests on its ability to harness its greatest strengths, its youthful population, its rich natural resources, and its incredible cultural diversity. The path to a more prosperous and peaceful future requires creating economic opportunities for its young people, ensuring good governance, and, most importantly, building a truly inclusive nation that respects the rights and heritage of all its citizens. Cameroon is a land of immense potential, a country that has weathered colonialism, division, and conflict. It stands today as a nation that has survived the tempests of its past, holding on to a stubborn hope that its people, in all their wonderful variety, can work together to forge a united and brighter tomorrow.